For more, we'll cross now to our correspondent Gulliver Cragg, who's standing by for us in the city of Kramatorsk, which is located in the Donetsk Oblast. Hi, Gulliver. So there's more news of civilian casualties in Donbass as Ukrainian emergency services reported 6 additional civilian deaths, as well as the destruction of a residential building in Toretsk. Why were they still so close to the front lines?
Well, that's a question a lot of people, especially Ukrainian authorities, are asking all the time. We were just driving this morning outside Kramatorsk to some villages closer to the front line with the head of the local fire department, and he was looking at all the people in the streets there and just saying, why are they still there? Why have they not evacuated? But I've also been talking to lots of people here in Kramatorsk and in other places, and what you hear is that they say they've got nowhere to go, that they can't afford to live anywhere else. The Ukrainian authorities would reply that there are lots of free services that are in place, free evacuation trains, buses, and lots of non-governmental and governmental programs, both international and Ukrainian, in Ukraine and abroad, to try to help these people. But what people say to you is that that's a short-term solution and they need a long-term solution to live somewhere else, and not everybody can find that. So you actually get a lot of people here in Kramatorsk, which is a bit further from the front line than Toretsk, but which still does get regularly shelled, who say that they came back having evacuated, and then after a few weeks or months came back to this city. And sadly, another example of a city where people have come back to after having evacuated is Pokrovsk, which was shelled 2 days ago. And we learned actually that one of the people who was killed in that shelling was somebody who'd evacuated and came back. So the Ukrainian authorities are continually urging people to get out of here because it's too dangerous, but people say that they can't, and others say that they just don't want to, that this is their home and that they just can't face the idea of leaving. And then you speak to other people too who feel that they need to stay because they've got a job to do. There are lots of people who have various different jobs of varying reasons why they feel that that is absolutely necessary. Yesterday we were in a shop and the shopkeeper said that he wouldn't leave with his wife because then where would the elderly people who live in this neighborhood get their food and their groceries?
Gulliver, let's turn back to the situation in Kyiv. What more do we know about the suspension of those top officials on Sunday?
Well, I think it was something that was brewing for quite a long time. Ukrainian people and officials have been saying almost since the beginning of the invasion that clearly some very big mistakes were made in the south of the country when Russia first invaded on the 24th of February, because Russian troops were able to cross over into southern Ukraine from Crimea, the peninsula that Russia annexed in 2014. Now, there's only basically 2 main roads that you can cross into mainland Ukraine from Crimea on, and a lot of people were saying, why were those bridges not blown up? Why were they able to cross there and then take most of the southern region of Kherson and the capital city of that region, Kherson City, almost without a fight? And Ukrainian government officials for some time have been laying the blame on officials in the SBU, that's the State Security or Intelligence Service, if you like. And on Friday, the head of the Crimea department of that service was arrested. And then Volodymyr Zelensky said that really this has to go right up to the very top and dismissed, or actually technically suspended, but I don't think anybody thinks he's going to be back in the job anytime soon. His long-term friend, childhood friend, Ivan Bakanov, as head of the SBU. And then at the same time, he also dismissed the general prosecutor of Ukraine, Irina Venediktova, and in both cases said that there appears to be too much infiltration in those agencies. In particular, there are too many members of those 2 agencies who have been collaborating with the Russian forces in the areas of Ukraine that Russia has occupied.
Gulliver Cragg in Kramatorsk, thank you very much for that information.